So this is a left eye of a male patient where inferonasally subtenon's anesthesia has been given. As you can see, it is a brunescent cataract. So first, using a 1 mm keratome, the second incision is made, and using a 2.2 mm keratome, the primary incision is made. Intracameral adrenaline is injected, following which an air bubble is injected, and then Trifen blue is injected pointing towards the anterior lens capsule. It is let to stay in the eye for a few seconds, and then viscoelastic is injected to remove the dye and the air bubble. Once the anterior chamber is filled with viscoelastics, rhexis is initiated using a bent cystitome. The most important thing while doing rhexis on such cases is to observe how the bag complex behaves. You can see there is a mild phacodonosis because of the heaviness and largeness of the nucleus, and always try to do a little larger rhexis in these cases. Once the rhexis is completed, hydrodelineation is attempted using a hydrocannula and BSS. As you can see in this case, there is hardly any cortex or epinucleus. Just a thin, very thin sheet of fibrous cortex and epinucleus is present over the hard nucleus below. First, Biscote is injected, and following which HPMC is injected, doing the soft shell technique. So by injecting the HPMC below the Biscote gets spread throughout the corneal endothelial surface. After that, chopper is introduced, the phacoprobe is introduced. All the epinuclear and cortical scales are removed, and then a central crater is being created. As the nucleus is very, very large antero-posteriorly, I prefer to create a central crater so that it facilitates and helps in having a good grip over the nucleus body and doing a horizontal chop. The same maneuver is repeated after rotating the nucleus 180 degrees. It is very important to have 2 heminuclei first and then start creating the subchops. So once 2 heminuclei are created, try to do at least 3 to 4 chops on each heminuclei so that you have multiple smaller nuclear pieces rather than larger pieces. So you can see there is a lot of stress on the zonules and there is no space within the bag. So what I decided was to remove one piece of nucleus from the bag and emulsify it. Try to emulsify the nucleus in the pupillary plane. And once that is done, you create a lot of space within the bag, and then the subchopping of the other heminuclei is initiated. So once you have that space, it is a little easier, and then each piece is subchopped into multiple smaller pieces and emulsified. So more number of pieces, easier the emulsification. When you have larger pieces or quadrants in this type of cataracts, there is actually very little space anteriorly as well as posteriorly. So it is very important for us to have multiple smaller pieces, ranging between 6 to 8 at least. So when it comes to the last few pieces, I prefer to start emulsifying from the posterior part of the nucleus. The most important thing while operating on brunescent cataracts is you are going to have a lot of nuclear fragments stuck in the bag, in the sulcus area, or somewhere engorged in the angles. So it is always important to flush them out. So how do you flush them out? You change your foot pedal from 0, 1, 2, keep changing them, creating a little bit of flutter within the eye. So once that flutter is created, all these free floating nuclear fragments gets dislodged and start floating in the anterior chamber. Here you can see there is hardly any cortex or epinucleus, just a few cortical fibers in the periphery. Using BSS and your hydrocannula, posterior capsular polishing is done so as to separate all these fibers from the posterior capsule. Cortex wash without doing the polishing in these type of cases can result in PCR or a prolonged duration of the step. So once the polishing is complete, using a coaxial irrigation aspiration probe, cortex wash is completed. So once the cortex wash is done, the bag and anterior chamber is filled with viscoelastics and a foldable intraocular lens is injected where the leading haptic is directed directly into the bag and the trailing haptic is gently tucked inside. So once this is done, viscoelastic removal is done above the intraocular lens and then below the intraocular lens. And the wound is hydrated. To summarize, when you are operating on a Brunnesen cataract, it is very important to have proper capsular staining. You have to assess the lens bag complex while performing the capsulorhexis. Do a larger capsulorhexis in these patients. Always use the soft shell technique to protect the endothelium. When the nucleus is larger antero-posteriorly, it is always better to create a central crater so that it facilitates easy chopping of the nucleus. Always aim to chop the nucleus into a minimum of 6 pieces at least. Create space inside the bag by emulsifying one quadrant and then continue chopping the remaining nucleus. It's always safer to polish the posterior capsule before attempting a cortex wash.